date, which wasn't until 2001.
Oh, for reporting.
Yeah, they were penalized by about 90 people.
Well, as I say, my
Are we live?
condolences and sorry
Okay.
for the poor joke, but you gotta make the mother-in-law joke.
Thank you.
It's okay. I've put it on my own personal one before, so
Just live stream on your.
I won't tell you what my friend said after seeing it. That's exactly what was said. Who was that? That's what I got.
All right, are we,
We're close.
we're close, okay.
September 8th, 9th, 12th, 15th? Oh.
8th.
How many guesses do I get for group athletics?
One, you don't need any. You don't. 0.
I got it in one.
It was one of the ones at the end of last year.
This is such a beautiful cafeteria. I wish I got to eat in a place like this when I was young.
You know, come on now.
These kids are spoiled. Ready?
This is brand new.
I know. 5 years. I love that. She showed me a picture of that earlier today.
Oh, the park down there?
Isn't that cool? It's just so cool. You're live. Okay. We are, I don't even know what we're doing. Village of Minerva Park Council meeting, September 8th, 2022, 7 p.m. It's a little after 7, it's 7:08. We are currently at the Minerva France Elementary School, so if anybody's watching and they're trying to figure out where we are, that's where we are. We will go to roll call, and councilperson Koss is excused, as well as councilperson Shrestha is also excused tonight. Councilperson Camera.
Here.
Councilperson Wolf.
Here.
Council President Wolf, sorry. Councilperson Brugger
Here.
and Councilperson
Yeah, you know
McNamara.
that.
Present.
And next on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know if we just kind of want to pretend,
Is no United
There's no
States
flag.
flag.
or I don't see one in here. Or do you guys want to pass for
Just-
tonight?
yeah, just-
So we will pass for tonight and maybe do some adjustments just through, we'll see. Next we have August 25th council meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then we also have September 1st work session minutes.
Move to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, and I'm gonna stumble through this one like I did last time, but that's what Brian's for. We're now gonna move to planning and zoning. As everybody's aware, we have voting members, non-voting members. We now have a position open for a non-voting member. Had 2 residents reach out for the Planning and Zoning Commission for a non-voting member, and I move to nominate JP Martin to Planning and Zoning as a non-voting member.
Second.
And are we just doing
Any discussion?
any discussion?
Great guy, active and involved in his community.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstention? Okay, we're good. Village official reports, Chief Matt Delp for police.
Thank you, Mayor. Hopefully you all got a copy of the report. Sorry for being late, but I don't have anything to add at this time.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief at this time? Okay, if anybody stumbles across a thought, let us know. And next is Jeffrey Wilczek, fiscal officer.
Thank you, Mayor. Hopefully in the next week or so, I'll be able to get a financial report out for both July and August. We've had some difficulty reconciling some of the receipts for July. I think it lands with the pool. I won't swear to it yet.
Uh-oh.
We're off $161 and change. Anyways, I do hope to get those reports out to you fairly soon. I was in contact with the independent public accountant that's going to do the agreed upon procedures examination. He will be at the village on September 20th. It will be a 1 or 2 day ordeal with getting the field work completed, and hopefully he's done at that point. completely fine.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for our fiscal officer?
The agreed upon procedures is in lieu of an audit, right?
Correct.
So we've gone back and forth, where we did audits every year, and then we did audit, agreed upon procedure audit. Can you, just for those who are less aware, can you give us a quick, what's the difference and why one over the other?
An agreed upon procedures examination is less than an audit, so they still look at a number of different things and report on it. They also look into certain compliance matters. We were eligible for a second agreed upon procedures examination, given everything that's going on with the new building and having to vacate and so on. This was a much quicker approach to getting things done. It will be the last agreed upon procedures. The next one will be a full-blown audit.
And they're less expensive, right? So part of
Agreed upon procedures are, yes, about $6,000 for agreed upon procedures, and we're $10,000, $11,000 for a full audit.
All right, thank you kindly.
Anybody have any additional questions? Okay, next is the engineer's report, Mike Flickinger. Obviously he's not here, so I will read this. Task order number 14, Westerville City School District Park Schools Plan Review. With the village planning director, we continue to coordinate with the schools let's start over again. With the village planning director, we continue to coordinate with the school's district design professional on stormwater items associated with the elementary school construction. Task order number 18, 2021 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. We provided inspection services for punch list items. We need to do a follow-up inspection after the recent rain events to determine if the punch list items can be closed out or if any additional work is required. We provided information to the village staff and legal counsel in response to questions and comments about the project. And after the punch list is complete per our inspection, we will prepare a final change order to reconcile and finalize the agreement amounts. The task order number 20 is the 2022 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. They presented information on a public meeting on 8/17 and forwarded a PDF copy of the presentation to the village for us to post, and which has been done. We began coordinating with Ohio Department of Natural Resources, ODNR, about the potential bat survey in the area. And if you were there, then you kind of know what's going on with that. If not, reach out. We continued preliminary design activities, and pending final coordination with the village, they will shift into the design detail. Task order number 22 is the 2022 CCTV inspection analysis. They prepared a memo with recommendations for the 2022 CCTV program. Once purchase orders have been executed, flow lines work is complete, they will review the information and prepare and submit with their standard analysis. So those, I'm not sure if the POs have been executed yet, but we will make sure that that gets moving here in the next couple days. So that is Mike's report. We'll move to Jesse's next, and Jesse is actually out tonight as well. So let's go to, so if anybody has any questions for him, feel free to email me. Village Planner, Mr. Eric Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. The only major action here, obviously, in the last couple of weeks has been the approval of the building. We are about at the point where the mayor can be presented with a contract, a finalized contract to sign. Parties, meaning us with our legal counsel, Jesse Shamp, and the contractor, have been going back and forth with some comments over the contract, and I expect those to be wrapped up after a conference call tomorrow morning, and the mayor can sign next week.
Perfect.
With legal counsel's approval.
Works for me.
That's all I have.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Fisher?
Yes, pulling into the school parking lot tonight reminded me of a question I've been asking for a while. The stuff in the crosswalk across the street from the car, the cones, the tarp that looked like they were put there for something, whose is that, and How do we get rid of it?
I will follow up with the supervisor to see who needs to handle that. I believe that came from one of the utility crews' work, so we'll find out who that was. I don't know what I suspect it was fiber, because that was the last people to ask for permits in the process, but I'll figure it out.
All right, so my plan to just push it across the street onto Westerville property would have been going after the wrong person then, huh?
Potentially.
Okay.
What about, is this new contract with the contractor, does that include the upgrades to?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, everything that council approved at the third reading will all be inclusive in that contract. This is typical stuff that goes back and forth with any finalized version, because it's draft until parties come together to final approve it.
Did we get a price with that? Have we gotten that yet?
The final price was what was with the third reading. So it was the base bid, base bid plus your two alternates added together is what you had agreed to.
Right, but weren't we upgrading the generator? or the
That
backup?
has not come back yet.
Okay.
That one has not come back yet. We're waiting on that one. So thank you for clarifying that. That one will come back, because that's gonna be a change order at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Procedure.
You're welcome.
It was on the tip of my tongue, I was like,
Okay, does anybody have any additional questions? Once, and this is just going a step further, once the contract and everything's signed, correct me if I'm wrong, but we will get a schedule of the
Yes.
potential start dates and how long the process will take. We do not have that yet, and that is not done until after the contract is fully executed.
Actually, I have one more.
Go ahead.
It came up at our village, our work session.
Mm-hmm.
No one was positive if we finalized the color scheme of everything. Did we actually finalize that?
we did.
We chose, I believe, this, if I recall, and it's not here in this structure,
Right.
but you chose one of the schemes. However, colors can be discussed still.
Sure.
It's kind of like when you do the house, there's certain things, structurally, there's not as many options to change things, but
Yeah.
once you start getting into the colors and things like that,
There are certain details, I think there's still, those are still certain items that can be
Right.
chosen still. There's certain details we'll get to.
and I would assume some of those materials are no longer even available that we're looking at, and colors and all that,
Yeah.
so I'm sure they'll be bringing quite a bit of things back to us.
Also, remembering that discussion at the work session was more like, did we ever choose one? I don't know, did you? I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. Which one did we choose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is pretty accurate, so, but I think the structural things will remain, and then some of the color things will be
Yeah.
Sure.
adjustable. And then we have zoning officer, John Canty's report, is that in the file? Yeah, it's in the file. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me, as well as John. John is out of the office this week, just as an FYI. So, again, email myself, John, and or Eric, and we can handle whatever needs to be done, or any questions. And planning and zoning, Council President Wolf.
Planning and zoning met last night, had some good preliminary discussions around, what do we,
Occupation.
Home occupation code, and we are requesting council to help us gather some examples of existing code elsewhere that we will review and parse together into something special for the Maryville Park.
Can you be more specific about home occupation code?
So home occupations are where we have a residential zone like this, and then people can have certain professions that they can work out of their house, or certain businesses they can run out of their house. What's considered acceptable within a residential zone.
Awesome.
So it could be piano teachers, it could be landscapers, it could be different businesses people want to run based on what type of effects they have on the surrounding, or impacts they have on the surrounding neighborhood.
Awesome, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay. I am now gonna pretend I know anything about MPCA, since,
Just skip it.
well, I have a couple things, because I know that they're coming, so I definitely wanna mention it. Block party is Sunday, September 18th. If you are on Facebook, there is a ton of information on there. It's from 3 to 7 p.m. And this is my little blurb. The reason that I did want to mention it is the connector will be closed. The Alder Vista connector will be closed from probably around 2 p.m. until around 8 p.m. So just be prepared for that, make arrangements for that. But we have been reaching out to Glendon Township as well as the Columbus Fire and EMS and all that. So that is also gonna happen again on October 22nd for their Halloween party, but I do not have the times yet for that. So it's at 2 o'clock, so we'll probably do the road closure around 1:30. But again, I would expect to see some information on that in the next newsletter. Last but not least, I do know that they also have their garage sale coming up in September, but that's as much as I can tell you, so look on Facebook, it's on there. So that is all I have for MPCA. Does anybody else have anything that they want to mention that they know about?
Other than I saw sign-up sites on the Community Association's Facebook page. They were click here to sign up and help out with the block party.
Yes, all kinds of information on Facebook about the block party, so if you want to help sign up to do something to help them, I'm sure they would love it. So, okay, so next we have communications. I know that there was a meeting. I don't know if anybody else on the committee wants to mention anything from that meeting, or we can discuss it on the next, we can always talk about it in 2 weeks when we're back. But if anybody has anything earth-shattering that they want to mention from that?
A lot of people signed up for the text, at like 270, I want to say, in the neighborhood. These numbers might all be wrong, they're ballpark. About 150, 160 people for the email already. We're looking to do another one of the surveys like we did a few years ago. We want sort of them to generate a list of questions, which then we will look at and then say, okay, we also want to add or subtract. I imagine that's pretty standard.
Yep.
We talked about that. Technically, we talked about generating that list, and they said if we're going to pay someone, let's let them generate a list and we can change it. And that was the bulk of the conversation at that meeting.
Awesome. And I will say to Barb, thank you, because those emails are fabulous. Okay. Finance.
Finance Committee has not met since our last report. I have been in communication with Fiscal Officer Wilczek. We will begin working on the 2023 budget in the not super distant future. So any council people or committees that have budgetary requests, hopes or dreams, please get those sort of tallied and communicated so that they can be considered as part of the budget.
Okay. And I have something for that, don't forget. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Brian? So other than getting a meeting scheduled, we'll get that posted as soon as possible. Next is streets. We have all been working a little bit behind the scenes. I already read Mike Flickinger's report, the street analysis. We've been looking through that, and obviously she has a lot going on right now between the 2022 storm sewer, the 2021 storm sewer project, the street analysis, and lots of fun emails that have come through about flooding and all that good stuff. So I don't have any additional projects or anything like that we're currently working on. So right now we're just trying to clean up some of the things that we've been working on for the last few months. Community.
Yes. So we have had a meeting. We talked about pool for next year. Kind of some of the things that we'd like to see put into the pool next year. We do have, if anyone has not heard yet, we've talked about it for months now, 46 new lounge chairs coming in for next year, sometime in November. Concessions, we did wrap up concessions. I did have to dispose of a few things that were expired, but other than that, we pretty much ended. Not too bad, not too over with things. So I'm trying to find a plan on how to sell those items off somewhere. We've talked about landscaping, specifically the focus for next year that we'll present to council for budget approval is around our entrances to the community. We want to start there and kind of standardize what those look like, plantings, make sure that the plantings are easy to maintain, that they're well lit, or we can maintain the structures that are there. And then we've had some discussion around other landscaping opportunities around the village. some of them specifically in the MI section around the ponds that probably can be cleaned up a little better. And then just some other items potentially that might help support this, additional equipment for vehicles that we have and whatnot, so. That's pretty much it for community.
And you might not know anything about this. I know last summer, when the slide went out, we were gonna get a new one and couldn't order one. Do you know anything about the slide?
Yes, thank you. We are looking, that is another one item, I forgot about that. I knew I was missing something. Yeah, we are looking to replace the slide for next season, and hopefully something very safe for our children. But yeah, that's in the plan, that will go with the budget for next year.
And with those leftovers, just a suggestion, you might wanna try to reach out to someone in PCA, maybe they'd buy them off you at cost for their block party.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions for Jason? Okay. Safety?
Safety has not met since the last report, so I have nothing major to contribute this time.
Perfect. And Councilperson Bruger, legislation.
Our next meeting is scheduled for the, I'm gonna guess, let's see, 28 plus 14, or 8 plus 14, about the 22nd, I believe, before that meeting at 6:30.
We always need her sitting out there.
Yep,
Mr.
20, I can add 14 to 8. I can count 2 weeks from today.
I can't. She's flashing it up over there, ready to go.
So,
And that's
And
at 6:30 here.
that's at 6:30 here. Currently, there is nothing too major or scary coming down the pike other than some of the legislation that we'll be reading in just a few minutes after citizens' comments. Oh, sorry. And of course, the mayor's reports. Didn't mean to shove you off that.
No, you're good. I can do my mayor's report now, or we can do it in old business, new business, so we'll do a little bit here and a little bit later. As everybody's fully aware, we're moving out of the new our current building into a new location. The address of that new location is 3700 Corporate Drive, Suite 130. This information, you don't have to write it down, this information is going to be put on the website, it's gonna be on Facebook, it's gonna be in as many places as we possibly can, so you guys know where to find us. We are going to be obviously packing and moving, and we do have movers coming to do this. However, there's gonna be a lot of moving parts to this. There will be office closures for people to come into the building. Obviously, with moving some of the large furniture and some of the things in and out of there, it's not necessarily safe to have people in there while the movers are trying to do this. Again, all of that information is going to be posted online on the website and on Facebook, so I'm not going to go through all of that, but there will be several days that we will be doing things just by appointment only. We will be working, but there are also going to be some times in which the phone lines are going to be down and our server will be down. Our emails may not be working for up to 48 hours, we have been told. So just be patient. Again, reach out via email, we'll respond as soon as we get it. The phones we do expect to work, so same phone number, we have voicemail, we have all of that. So if we find that there is other issues, then we will again get everything posted to the website, how to get a hold of us if there's longer extended periods, as well as the Facebook page. But we will make sure that we communicate as best we can during that time. Other than that, that's all I have right now until we get to the next part. I'm good. So, citizen comments.
This is the portion of citizens' comments. Any citizens that are here are welcome to address council. We'd ask you stand over approximately there-ish. Give us your name and your address, and you will have 5 minutes to address
Before I
council.
start,
What?
can I ask for a little consideration on 5 minutes? I will try and not abuse it. I have spent an awful lot of time. I spent probably 100 hours trying to help the village, and I'd appreciate it if I could have some help back.
Our rules of council allow for 5 minutes. If members of council choose to engage you during those 5 minutes, that would not be counted against you, but the rules of council is for 5 minutes.
Okay, You all have handouts. There are a couple of handouts if you don't want to look at your emails. You have received in the past information about me tracing the pipe all the way down to Park Lane Drive, which the village engineer said he could not find. And you have emails about me finding the 2 breaks, one adjacent to Yasmin and one on the western boundary of Ed Bell's property. Tonight you have new pictures that describe the 3 holding basins that enter the WPA tile, and you have some pictures about the conditions around Yasmin, and you have pictures of the actual blockage location as I have determined them. The pictures that I have on the first page basically describe the holding basins, the 3, Ivywood and Northland Plaza and the retirement village. That's all on the first page and the top of the second page. All I can say about those retention basins is that they are a mess. They are overgrown, they do not match city standards. Standards do not allow standing weeds in retention basins. They all have that. The retention basin for the retirement village is partially plugged at the outlet, but not enough to hinder its operation. And that's why the pictures will still show some drainage 2 or 3 days after the last rain, because there's a blockage in the outlet pipe. Going to the last page, there's a picture of erosion at Yasmin, and that's due to the overflow. Okay? The next picture is very important. This is new information. You will see that there is brand new cement on his grate at the back of his building. Because I was trying to find out where his system entered the WPA town, and it enters before the block, and that's why all the water's coming to him. Okay? I watched him repair, that is the owner and a member of his grocery store, I watched them repair that basin. The lips of the basin are cement, and there's a grate that sits on top of them. That has deteriorated. His solution was alarming. He took part of some wood pieces and tried to create a ledge for his grate to sit on where the cement at the edge had eroded. Then he put the grate on top of the wood, and then he put the cement in. If that wood collapses and gets into our system, it's a mess. And I don't know why you would repair a holding basin with wood, but that's what he did. And you can go up and see the pictures. The next picture is my exact location of the break between, go ahead and laugh, I will convince you, okay?
I paused to allow you those 5 seconds back. Go ahead.
Okay. Behind Yasmin Markets is another grade. This is 30 yards down the line. And that, if you look at the grade itself, has standing water in the bottom because of the blockage at the west end of 2620. And please make a correction on all your drawings that Ed Bell's location is 2620. And it's wrong on some of the slides. My proposal, fix the 2 blockages. There will be no overland flow like it was 20 years ago, except in record storms. And you were going to have overflow from the design, which cost $550,000. There was overflow designed in that. My solution means no trees removed, no backyard excavation except for repair, and you save over $500,000. I would appreciate the opportunity to try and convince you that I am not crazy. I've done this at personal risk. I don't normally reveal this to other people. So I will be,
Your time has elapsed.
Council
am I out
President,
of time?
if I
May I
may.
have 30 seconds more?
No.
Hold on.
If I may, sir, I have a few things to say in regards to this that will be pertinent.
Sure.
Sure. So first and foremost, Dick, I know you've served the village for a long time. As we have talked many times in the past, unfortunately, Mr. Busick, in his efforts here, and when he says great personal risk, I don't doubt that, is trespassing in certain conditions here. And so, Dick, you cannot go on some of these properties the way you go. You do not represent the village. Hold up. You don't represent the village, and you cannot use easement. You cannot use easement to walk upon that is village or city easement. So first and foremost. Second, the village engineer, as well as the attorney, and I are involved with discussing multiple parties in this case. We have ordered a survey. We are going to secure easement from, I believe, 5454 and Cleveland Avenue. And he has been working with us so that we can then proceed with a repair and eventual acceptance of this infrastructure down the road. And so all of this will be handled in due course. So although I appreciate your efforts tirelessly, there are professionals, engineers and so forth working on it. And so it will handle it in a professional manner.
I feel
But
I
I
should
thank
be
you.
able to respond to that. May I? He criticized me for trespassing. I received permission for the places that I went on.
From each and every property owner?
Yeah, there's a lot there.
What?
There's a lot there.
Did you
I
receive-
didn't get all the
Mr.
way down.
Mr. Busick, did you receive permission to enter the property from each and every property?
I believe I did, yes.
Okay, then that suffices, that you believe you did. If there's evidence otherwise and people would like to take action, that's on them. Your
That's
time
on them.
has elapsed.
And yeah, we don't need to worry about that now.
Yeah, your time has elapsed, Mr. Busick.
Thank you. Okay. And now we are to Mark again.
Okay, legislation. We got some fancy ones here, so let's get through them. Our first is ordinance 26/2022, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2022. If you look at Exhibit A, no, it just says supplemental appropriations 10 on the top, sorry, for those of you in the packet.
It does say Exhibit A.
Oh, does it?
Yes, upper right-hand corner.
Oh,
Doesn't come on.
not on my paper copy, it doesn't, but there you go. It is an increase of $60,000 to the Security of Persons and Property Police Department General Fund. That is for the ordering of a new police cruiser. We of course get one new one every year. This is next year's new cruiser. We're ordering it now so that we can get it sometime next year. We have done this the past this will be our second time doing it. Last year we ordered this year's in 2021 to make sure we got it in 2022. $60,000 is the cost of one of those police cruisers. Roughly, it might be a little, anyway, that's how much we're appropriating for it. I do not, we have waived readings on here, but we are not gonna be able to waive readings tonight due to only having 4 council persons present. So that is just a first. Anyone? Okay. All right, the next big one. Gonna be similar. Ordinance 27/2022, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for the current expenses of the Village of Minerva Park for the year 2022. Go into Exhibit A. Aha, it says it on my paper copy. This is a $265,900 appropriation, which is a big number. Of that big number, 230 of it is to pay off the extra money we owe on our TIF loan for this year. We've talked about this before. For anyone who wants to hear me say it again, we said we'd give our loan payment, our TIF money as a loan payment. MI already collected half of it. We have to come up with the other half. We will then pay it back out of the general fund over the next 2 years, I believe is the plan, right, Jeff?
That is correct.
Awesome. Other 2 big things, we got $5,000 in there because the cost of gasoline went up for our police department. And we have $15,000 in there. This is an estimation to pay Rita. For all you out there who don't like paying Rita, please remember the village pays her too. We essentially pay 3% of our gross tax revenue to them as a surcharge for them to administer our taxes. And we are foreseeing that our gross tax receipts will be greater than they were anticipated this year. So that extra $15,000 is to make sure we have enough to pay them for it. There's a couple other little things, but nothing really worth mentioning. That is a first reading and it has been read. Any questions? Okay, motoring right along. Nope, that was this, okay. Ordinance 28, 2022, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into a contract to purchase a new police cruiser, through the state of Ohio competitive purchasing program and declaring an emergency. This is, of course, we appropriated the money earlier, or we haven't, but we read an ordinance to appropriate the money. This is the actual purchasing of that car, which it looks like we're not gonna go for the hybrid option to save a few bucks there. Saying it's worth the first reading. If you wanna show up next week or when we do our next meeting, you can do that, all you little green warriors out there.
It's worth discussing, depending on how long we'll keep the vehicle.
We keep them for 4 or 5 years, is it? 5. Yeah, we're on a 5-year rotation. We keep them for 5 years.
So I guess we just need to figure out what the average cost of gasoline over 5 years versus
And would that
the
save it?
savings, yeah.
Because it looks like it only saves $2,500. I mean, you can make up $2,500 in gas pretty quick when you got a car that's running 8 hours a day idling.
I think it should be looked into. That's.
You're on safety committee.
I know, I just found out about it now, so.
Have yourself a quick meeting.
Yep.
All right, resolution 2022-27. A resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Amic Municipal Consulting Group for OD&R consulting services and declaring an emergency. However, despite the emergency declaration, this is only a second reading. This is $7,500 for a grant writer to try to get us money for sewer projects, I believe.
Correct, the 2022 storm sewer project.
And he's just looking into that. I saw OD&R, we can't try to get him some lake money either, or is he focused?
This is, again, we've used him multiple times, so that's probably something we'll come back to. The 7,500 will just strictly be for that, but it's something that I've used in the past, and was successful getting. He has done a fabulous job for us.
Gotcha, so
We did our
it's $7,500 a project for him, and
Some of them were 10 grand, so,
Okay.
but
That's a deal.
we were able to get all of our all of our sanitary projects done with
Awesome.
them, so.
okay, so yes, we pay $7,500 for that, or sometimes 10 grand, and he gets us free money, or if not free money, at least
0%.
interest-free loans on money, which isn't quite free, but it's the next best thing.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our final thing this evening, Resolution 2022-28, a resolution to authorize an advance to the Minerva Park Tax Increment Financing Tax Equivalent Fund. As you remember earlier, I talked about the $220,000 that we are having to give. This is the resolution that says we will pay that back at a rate of $110,000 a year for the next 2 years. Although it says until the advance is fully repaid, to me, my math set says 2 years. But I understand leaving open language like that. And that's all of our legislation for tonight. Nothing really to vote on, I believe.
Nope.
So we are just reading and going.
All right, let's move over to old business. Anybody have any old business they want to talk about?
Just that junk that was sitting on the sidewalk, but apparently it's gonna get looked into.
All right. New business. We have trick or treat on there just so I didn't forget about it tonight.
Oh,
We're way early for it, but people have already started asking. So Morpsey says October 31st, which is a Monday,
Perfect.
typically 6 to 8 p.m. That's up to you guys. But I would say let's stick with Morpsey, but that's all.
I'll move that we accept Morpsey's recommendation and declare October 31st, 6 to 8 p.m., our annual trick-or-treat/beggars night
Second.
For the year of 2022.
for the year 2022.
I'll
Yes.
second that as well.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Make it
And I'm gonna
so.
say it for the record, does anybody wanna do a rain date whatsoever, or it is what it is?
I am an it is what it is kind of guy.
There you go.
Yeah, but you can't get better than October 31st. That's Halloween.
Okay.
And if
So-
it's terrible weather, as long as we're, a week out, we can change it, and
There you
there you go. We don't need to plan it now.
Perfect.
Let's hope that the weather will be good.
Exactly. Okay, so we'll get that posted, we'll start getting that out as well. This is something that we're briefly gonna talk about, and I'm just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a heads up. We have not internally made any decisions and wanted to just kind of give you guys a heads up. With the move into the new building, trying to determine, we want to keep things as straightforward and similar to the current ways that we're doing it. Obviously, we're pretty much open from 9 until 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. With having Mayor's Court and some other things in different locations, Wednesday seems to be a day that there really might not be anybody in there. So altering Wednesdays is when we have Mayor's Court. So my initial thought was to just have them go to their Mayor's Court, have them work remotely, just on Wednesday, so it's not confusing for people, and basically be normal hours Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. My thought also to that is being out of the village, it's going to, I don't know that the traffic is gonna be anywhere near as high as it currently is. So, we kinda wanna keep it as comfortable for everybody right now, knowing that they can go in anytime, but knowing that there are gonna be some changes coming. Once we get through that first week or two of October in there, kind of reassessing what it's like when people do walk in. We know that in the spring, it'll get busy with permits and everything again, but we're going into slow season. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on some of that kind of stuff, but our initial thought, since we're not gonna have anybody to work in the buildings on Wednesdays, every other Wednesdays in the mornings, just doing a basic, we're not gonna be open, except maybe by appointments. We'll still, respond to email, voicemails, and all that kind of stuff, but actually no office hours that particular day. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts, questions, concerns. That's a bad idea.
I would say that's a reasonable request, a reasonable schedule. If it's just the morning, 1 out of 5 days.
Well, it would be confusing if we just didn't do every single Wednesday. They would still
Yeah.
work remotely on every single Wednesday, except for when they're gonna be at court.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't come, just to make it simple, we're
Yeah.
open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
That was kind
That
of
works
where
for
we
me.
were at.
And just so we can get it out there, because I don't know, it's probably been said, I wasn't paying attention. If we could just let people know, about how long do we plan to be down in that building?
So we're getting the schedule after the contract is fully executed. We would have a schedule when we expect it to start. We do expect them to come in and start setting up and doing things possibly as early as the last week of September, more than likely the first week of October, because again, that's why we tried to push some of these things through a little faster. We are expecting them,
To get
Last week
started
of September.
this fall?
yeah, we're getting close.
And then is this gonna be a 3-month thing, a 6-month thing, a
No, it's gonna
12-month
be-
thing?
I would say somewhere between 9 and 12 months is what we're expecting. The lease is 12 months.
Yeah, I know this, I'm saying this for the camera.
No, you're good.
Get it out.
I know, at first I was like, are you asking me this, or are you? Okay.
No, I'm leading you on the
No, you are
presentation.
perfectly fine. We are expecting 9 to 12 months to be in this location. Again, it is very close. It is directly across the street. We are probably, I have not measured it, but I would say definitely less than a mile from probably, correct me if I'm wrong, less than a mile. Our police service is not gonna change. Anytime you need an officer dispatched, you will still call the 614-525-3333. You will still see them in the village. They will be uninterrupted. We do not expect any services whatsoever to be with phones or internet or anything being down. That will not affect them at all.
For those of you curious, it is that fancy brown frosted glass office building all the way down at the end of Corporate Exchange. It's right there on the little Allen Creek walking trail, just a little bit past CHA Animal Shelter.
Yes. Yes. And it's on the first floor. It's Suite 130. Again, stop by, see it. The more the merrier. So that is my basic new business, old business, all of the above. Jason, do you want me to bring it up? Do you want to bring it up? Go for it. I'll let you go.
So, I would like to, maybe make a motion, maybe? I'm not quite sure what the protocol is here.
Go ahead.
So, the mayor's son has been helping out with landscaping at the village, and just to kind of be on the up and up with everything, I'd like to propose that we allow him to work for Brian as part-time employee for the village.
So procedurally, I don't believe there is any requirement to treat that.
Maybe
We
just a
could-
blessing of council.
Yeah, we
I
could
think
say
that's
that,
really-
yeah.
we could make a motion that it is a statement of confidence in that employment, and express an understanding that this is an individual who is directly supervised by,
Good luck.
right, specifically.
Yeah, we can
supervised.
just say we know the mayor's hiring her.
Right.
Yeah.
We're giving a job to our kid, but it's because we can't find anyone else, and they're gonna do a good job. It's not a no-show.
And then we can vote.
Now, just a point, right, but, yeah, Brian likes the help. And just again, for the record, I know nobody's asking this, but, the amount of pay that he would be paid is and has been, the exact same thing that our seasonal people made for maintenance. He does not make 1 penny more than any of our additional seasonal people and will not.
So, I'd like to try, just.
Brian's good at it.
I'd like to make a motion, that is a statement that council's aware of the employment relationship of, let's see, what's his name again? Tanner Hughes. That he will be under the direct supervision of our maintenance person, Brian, what's your last name?
Sutton.
Sutton, and council's aware of this, and approve of that employment at this time.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
There we go.
There you go.
Teenage got a part-time job.
Blessing as council can do.
Beautiful.
I have one little.
Go for it, go.
One very small bit of new business. I just feel that it's important to, I don't know, take a moment to commemorate this large event in world history. Queen Elizabeth II died today, the longest serving British monarch in history at just over 70 years. Regardless of how one feels about the monarchy, it's a pretty significant event. So just worth bringing up.
Thank you.
Well,
I know, it's actually shocking today when I saw it. I was like,
I don't know. Maybe not a moment of silence.
You had a moment of surprise that there was another new business, or are we ready to adjourn?
oh, no, I'm not.
Move to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? All right, let's turn off those.
All right, guys, let's help out Barb and carry down our little name tags.
So I need